Welcome everyone to the Hume Regional Integrated Cancer Services Annual Forum for 2022-2023. My name is Mark Ashcroft and I'm Chair of the Hume RICS Governance Committee. I'd like to start by acknowledging the traditional owners of the lands on which we're meeting today and pay respects to their elders past, present and emerging, and any elders that might be present with us in the forum today. Firstly, thank you to those who have dialed in to the forum. The decision to move the forum online last year was successful, and with that in mind we've kept the same format this year. Hume RICS is committed to its contribution to the statewide Victorian Cancer Plan 2020-2024 and to the success and growth of cancer support initiatives within the Hume region. Today's forum is a chance to highlight this important work. Presentations today will include the role of consumers, the Geri-Oncology Toolkit developed to support older people with cancer, Survivorship Care Planning Project at North East Health Wangaratta, clinical trials at Albury-Wodonga Regional Cancer Centre, service improvements and highlights at Goulburn Valley Health, palliative care collaboration and recommencement of cancer wellness programs at NCN, Nathalia, Cobram and Yamurka. I wish to thank all our stakeholders, clinicians, staff, consumers and their families who have collaborated with the staff from Hume RICS over the last year. I also want to thank Annie Williams, Hume RICS Program Director, and the Hume RICS team for their ongoing work and contributions. The first presentation today focuses on the role of consumers. Raja will be sharing his story and highlighting the importance of supportive care, and Kathleen will be highlighting the benefits and opportunities of being a volunteer. We kindly welcome you both.
Working to support the improvement of outcomes and experience with cancer is a critical aspect of our roles within Hume RICS. Hello everyone, my name is Jo Mason, Service Improvement Coordinator for Hume RICS. As part of my role, I work with our consumers across the Hume region to ensure that we continue to collaborate with cancer patients to engage and work with us on our service improvement initiatives. Most health professionals choose to work in the health sector so they can contribute to the well-being of their community. Patient, carer and consumer involvement will support and align with their values to deliver patient-centred care, leading to better outcomes and experiences. Consumer engagement is the most effective way for us to understand how to meet the healthcare needs of our community. This year, in line with our theme, collaborating to improve the journey experience and outcome for patients with cancer and their carers, we have developed and updated our consumer engagement model. This will ensure that we continue to engage and recruit patients, carers and consumers of cancer services within our catchment area. With the assistance of two of our long-standing and valued consumers, Kathleen and Raja, who are here to chat with us today, we've been able to ensure our consumer framework, cancer registry and patient surveys assist us to continue to work with consumers in many different roles. Kathleen, thank you so much for joining me today at the Cancer Wellness Centre to have a chat.
No worries.
Your journey with cancer started as a carer, and I was just wondering if you could explain your experience and a moment that influenced your decision to become a cancer advocate.
Certainly. We moved to Albury-Wodonga 9 years ago. In that year, 4 months after we moved, my husband was diagnosed with throat cancer. So our big tree change turned awry. We were very happy with the treatment. We were able to have it all up here. And I felt we were invited to a survivorship program through Hume RICS, and I thought it was time that I gave back because we were happy with all the treatment at the time.
Have you been involved in any cancer advocacy initiatives or campaigns in the past? And if so, can you explain a role and contribution?
Yeah, I certainly have. I, with Hume RICS, was one of their community ambassadors where you went out to groups and talked about what Hume RICS did in the cancer space. I was involved in their symptom urgent review program, the suite of individual patient information regarding colorectal cancer. I was on their steering committee, their advisory group, and just recently part of going through the survey and trying to recruit other consumers within Hume RICS.
Wow, you must be very busy.
Oh, a bit busy. It's okay.
What do you think are the most significant challenges that cancer patients and their families face today, and how can advocacy help address these challenges?
Yeah, look, certainly I'd say the most significant challenge would be understanding what goes on in the health system. Knowing what questions to ask to get the right service is another thing that consumers, us, don't always understand. And being an advocate for all the different services that I do helps me to advocate that. And it's not just me that sees that as a problem, it's everyone that you talk to.
Thank you. Could you touch on the benefits and opportunities of being a volunteer for the Hume region from a rural and a regional perspective?
Yes, certainly. Look, the benefits that I've found, and I've been lucky enough to be involved with the Victorian Comprehensive Cancer Centre and the Cancer Council, is I actually get to give a regional perspective. Now we lived in Melbourne Metro all our lives, moved up here 9 years ago, so we can absolutely compare the difference in the systems and the services and what's available. So it allows me to advocate for regional patients through those other channels.
So Kathleen, what advice would you give to someone who is considering becoming a consumer?
Look, I would absolutely tell them to become involved. If you want to affect change, then you've got to do it. Don't sit back and wait for everyone else to do it. And just be aware of your limitations, that if something triggers something that you're not comfortable with, say so. Don't be overwhelmed by it all. It takes a while to learn all the jargon and everything that goes on, but I would certainly encourage people to be part of it and to affect change.
Thank you, and thank you so much.
That's all right.
For speaking with me today.
Pleasure.
Thank you so much for joining us today.
You're most welcome. It's a pleasure.
Could we touch on your cancer journey? And you were diagnosed with leukemia in 1996. Could you touch on how that affected yourself and your family?
Yes. To start with, I used to come home very tired and wanted to lie down on the bed and do nothing. So my wife, what she did, she said, "You don't look well," and she pushed me to the hospital. In the hospital, I stayed for 4 days, and I was diagnosed with leukemia there. And they had given me 2 to 4 weeks to live. During this period of time, I started chemotherapy, and within first 4 to 8 weeks, I was in remission.
That would have been very difficult. Can you touch on the support services that were available to you during that time? Psychological, spiritual?
First thing, externally, the work was helping me there. Now, the oncologists, all the nurses, other medical staff, and social workers, they were very, very nice to me. They took my care like anything. It was wonderful. And I think half of the success of me being alive now is the help what they gave me when I was in the hospital.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yes.
Would somebody who was looking at becoming a consumer, what advice would you give to them?
The main purpose, I think, help from the consumer will be to make them be positive, so they can accept the pain and the suffering of the disease very well. So optimism for the patient is far more important than anything else. And if I didn't have all that help from the people, friends, and everybody else, medical side too, I would have had a bit harder time.
Oh.
Because of the fact that I was missing my family more than what I was suffering to.
That would have been so hard for you. Thank you so much for speaking with us today and for taking the time out of your busy day.
It was my pleasure. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Kathleen and Raja, for taking the time to chat with us today and your valued contributions for many years to Hume RICS. We look forward to continuing to collaborate and work alongside you in the next steps of our program to expand the ways in which we can partner with carers, health services and the community. This will enable us to ensure the active voice of the consumer informs future service improvement initiatives, advocacy and advisory contributions across the Hume region. In closing, I have learnt so much from working with our consumers, which I can sum up in this quote from Maya Angelou in an interview with Beautifully Said magazine in 2012. I've learnt that people will forget what you said, people will forget what you did, but people will never forget how you made them feel. Thank you.
I'm Sian Wright and I work with Hume Regional Integrated Cancer Service as a project lead for cancer service improvement. We have been working with colleagues from Southern Melbourne Integrated Cancer Service on a statewide initiative aimed at improving the care of older people with cancer since April 2021. The Victorian Cancer Plan, released at the end of 2020, identified that nearly half of all Victorians diagnosed with cancer are over the age of 70. Cancer treatment in older patients can be complicated by co-occurring illnesses which may require active management and can affect health outcomes. It also noted that geriatric assessments inform the right treatment and care based on each patient's health and fitness rather than their age. Outcomes from 2 RICS scoping projects supported the need for appropriate services focusing on older aged people with a diagnosis of cancer. This focus area was therefore included as part of the RICS implementation plan developed to support outcomes of the Victorian Cancer Plan. Demographics recently extracted for our final project report from the Australian Bureau of Statistics shows as locations become more remote, population decreases, percentage of working age population decreases, average age of population increases and population aged over 70 increases. These trends have been growing over time, with growth being more evident as a location becomes more remote. The Cancer in Victoria report from the Victorian Cancer Registry 2021 projects growth of cancer diagnoses to more than 51,000 by 2036, which is a 43% increase and relates to population growth and ageing of residents. This data shows the importance of regional services for older people with cancer. A review of current literature relating to care of older people with cancer and stakeholder engagement concluded with a workshop with subject matter experts and clinicians involved in service implementation activities in September 2021. Information gathered informed the decision to develop a toolkit based on the fact that there is significant variation in service capacity across the state and there is no one-size-fits-all model of care that could be developed. The toolkit aims to address the identified needs for service implementation regardless of the size and scope of health service involved. It was also decided to conduct a statewide environmental scan to determine health, service provision and readiness to implement geriatric oncology models of care. The toolkit provides an opportunity for health services to partner with their local integrated cancer service to identify their specific needs and implementation opportunities. Awareness and access to existing local hospital and community services should be a priority to determine how to effectively add value to the care of older people with cancer. The toolkit provides direction on solution development to address associated barriers to implementing components of care. The toolkit was released in November 2022 and an updated version followed in August 2023. The update includes additional examples of service delivery, role of the GP, implementation of a telehealth service, carers resources and a flowchart to support service implementation. The next review and update will take place in February 2024 and thereafter will be conducted annually. Resources have been developed to support integrated cancer service staff to engage with their health services and introduce them to the toolkit. Analysis of the statewide environmental scan undertaken between December 22 and May 23 showed that 46 health service staff were interviewed across 33 health services. Staff most commonly responding were medical oncologists, nurse unit managers of day oncology and directors of clinical services or clinical operations. Results have been included in the final report, including evaluation metrics to address RICS outcomes in relation to the Victorian Cancer Plan. An evaluation of the toolkit is planned for May 2024 for release prior to the next iteration of the Cancer Plan.
Hello, I'm Mandy Kavanagh, the Nurse Unit Manager of the Cancer and Wellness Service at North East Health Wangaratta. The Cancer and Wellness Service at North East Health provides chemotherapy and supportive treatments for people with cancer or other chronic illnesses. The team is made up of chemotherapy nursing staff, specialist breast and gynecological cancer nurses and prostate cancer nurse specialists. The chemotherapy unit comprises 8 chairs and a bed operating 5 days per week, Monday to Friday. Our project was to pilot and evaluate cancer survivorship care plans at our regional cancer service with the support of Hume Regional Integrated Cancer Service. We recognised a gap when it came to survivorship care and wanted to better support our patients transitioning from end of active treatment into self-management survivorship care. During this time, patients often feel lost and unsupported. Whilst not a standard of clinical practice and recognising that they don't always happen, we know survivorship care plans have been identified as an important aspect of care provision to assist patients to transition to the post-treatment phase. We saw this as a valuable service improvement opportunity. Survivorship care plans are emerging as one element of an improved and more coordinated approach to survivorship care. They are written documents that provide details of a person's cancer diagnosis and treatment, potential late and long-term effects arising from the cancer and its treatment, recommended follow-up, surveillance and strategies to remain well. Consumer engagement at a statewide level has identified consumers want this information and support to assist in addressing their health and wellbeing needs beyond active treatment.
My name is Erin, one of the breast and gynecological cancer nurses at North East Health. Alongside Karen, one of the chemotherapy nurses, we have worked on this project together. We developed our own survivorship care plan templates, taking elements of existing documents and developing a North East Health version designed specifically for our breast, bowel and lung cancer patients. Feedback from stakeholders was also sought through their development. Our nurse-led project created survivorship care plans for a sample group of bowel and lung patients completing chemotherapy treatment with curative intent at North East Health. A sample group of breast patients completing chemotherapy, radiotherapy, adjuvant hormone therapy have also been part of the 6-month pilot phase, with the survivorship care plans being developed with each patient at the completion of active treatment. A copy of the care plan was given to the patient's GP, their surgeon and treating oncology team. GPs can use the information to create a chronic disease management plan for the patient if required. A total of 38 care plans were created over the 6-month period, with 3 and 6-month surveys sent to patients. The last of the patient surveys responses are expected to be returned by the end of November. A total of 50 surveys were also sent to relevant health professionals involved in the patient's care. We are currently in the evaluation phase of the project and are developing a North East Health Quality Cancer Survivorship Policy. We are refining some of the processes and procedures undertaken during the pilot, taking on board the learnings from the project and are working on a model of care that is sustainable within existing resources.
Survey results and feedback so far has shown our patients really value having a survivorship care plan created for them, providing personalised continuity of care, addressing health and wellbeing needs, facilitating communication, health monitoring and surveillance, and empowering patients to actively participate in their own health care. Here is some feedback from some of our patients. Worthwhile to do, opportunity to talk out loud about future dreams and plans, a chance to debrief at the end of treatment, good time to offer programs and apps such as exercise and mindfulness, gets you talking about what is hard, opportunity to explore what you really think about things and what your priorities are. It helps you think about things you may have not realised before. Good to have a form to take to the doctor's appointments. Our aim is to continue to provide our patients with comprehensive cancer care and support them to navigate the post-treatment phase of their cancer journey, helping them to live their life they want to live and promote better long-term health outcomes and quality of life.
Donna, can you tell me about the Regional Trials Network Victoria, or known as RTN-VIC?
The Regional Trials Network Victoria is a collaboration of 8 regional clinical research unit sites in Victoria, ranging from Mildura up in the Sunraysia area down to La Trobe Regional Hospital. It's a collaboration between those units which was created to try and improve outcomes for regional Victorians.
What's been the impact of RTN-VIC on cancer treatment and research at the regional and national level?
The impact has been, we created it in 2018, and so far we've improved clinical trial participation and the number of clinical trials available at regional sites in Victoria. Craig, do you want to add to that?
Yeah, I think that's the most important direct impact. That's really why it was created, to try and improve recruitment to trials, and that's been achieved and addressed one of the, I think, 12 or 13 priorities of the Victorian Cancer Plan 2020-2024 is to improve clinical trial recruitment in regional areas. So it's achieved that, which is great. And nationally, then there's the indirect impact. So we have all the benefits of forming networks, and so in a way the regional sites are all mentoring each other in not only clinical trial recruitment now, but also in doing some health services research. So investigating new ways of new models of care, new ways of doing things. So it sort of complements the work of the RICS. So the RICS is focused on direct care delivery and doesn't have a role in research, but the Regional Trials Network has this role in research. And nationally it's seen as potentially a model of how other states could do things as well. So there's actually some discussion going on in another state at the moment about maybe should they look at what was done in Victoria and maybe replicate that in another state.
Can you discuss the importance of patient care involvement in the RTN's VICs, how this impacts on your decision-making process and your research initiatives?
Yes, so we have a project called Revitalise, which we've managed to get MRFF funding for because of the collaboration. Part of that, we have an advisory group which has a consumer on it, and that consumer has helped us create a consumer group as part of the RTN-VIC called Every Voice Can, which stands for Every Voice Consumer Advisory Network. That pulls in advisors, consumer advisors from each of the network sites, and that's been pivotal in assisting us. In our big Revitalise project, there's 7 initiatives in areas of unmet need, and it's important that we get those voices from the regional consumers so that we know that we're meeting the targets that they want and in the areas that they're interested in.
And speaking more about consumer involvement, can you tell me about what promoted diversity and inclusion in your clinical trials to ensure that a wide range of patients benefit from the research?
Yes, so we do have some initiatives in areas of unmet need in underserved population groups, and one of those is the Geriatric Oncology Initiative. We have another one in palliative and supportive care, but we also have a project in Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander clinical trial research access. So we are trying to focus on that particularly because outcomes are so much poorer for Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people. We have a fantastic steering committee that's made up a lot of Aboriginal people. That's been run in Shepparton, and it's a co-designed project with that group. So I think that's a really important initiative.
Yeah, I've learned a lot in working with the Aboriginal community in Golden Valley that we're co-designing that project with, and we're trying to understand barriers to recruitment to clinical trials and in overcoming those barriers. And it's been really great a privilege to work with those communities and understand the collaborative process that they utilise in discussing and coming up with ideas on how to improve those services. So it's really been an eye-opener and working with them in a really positive way.
And looking ahead, what are the future plans and initiatives for the RTN VIC?
What are the future plans for the RTN VIC? I think the main future plan is to sustain it, so it's project funded, and we're hoping that it will be recurrently funded. There's an opportunity to potentially expand into, the focus has been on clinical trials, and we were able to leverage the funding for this health services research program called Revitalise. There's an opportunity for us to do more in the space of health services research. So how can we bring the current best practice and implement that in the regional areas, or look at new ways of doing things? So again, complementary to what's going on in you know, the main cancer services, really driving research. So there's opportunities there. As we talked about, it could be scaled up to be used in other states as well, maybe duplicated or you know, adapted for other jurisdictions. So that's our main focus at the moment, is how can we sustain it, embed research into everyday cancer services in regional Victoria.
So my name is Javier. I'm the Clinical Director of Medical Oncology here in Gorbon Valley Health. Today we're talking about a few projects that we have done with the hand of the Hume RICS, the Regional Integrated Cancer Services. A few projects that we have focused in, most importantly on improving the outcome of our patients in the region. The first one that I would like to talk about is related to an audit that we have done to the MDM, which stands for Multidisciplinary Discussions. This audit is basically to assess for the outcome of our MDM meetings here at Gorbon Valley Health, in which some outcomes are reviewed and then they audit to see if we really follow as they should be for the MDM discussions. In other words, to see if we are sticking with the guidelines of these meetings, to see if we can get all the information relevant for our patients and most importantly for the treatment allocated to those patients. So we have done this project once again with Hume RICS team, and we have identified a few areas that we need to improve relating staging of our patients, but also some areas in which have been done very well and reporting for the same audit. The second that coming to my mind is related to audits about what optimal care pathways, in which our patients are reviewed according to triage for the referrals from the GP to the oncologist, to the services that need to be involved, including radiology for CT scans, PET scan, biopsies, and also to referrals for our colleagues like radiation oncology services, in which basically the time between the referral from the GP to the time of we see the patient to the time the patient have the investigation and started treatment, they are follow up accordingly to identify these processes and what sort of things we can improve regarding the timing and the way that the flow for our patients with the different cancer streams. The other item that we wanted to talk about this year is one of the projects that has been around, led by our prostate cancer nurses, more in particular Sonia Strachan, regarding the androgen deprivation therapy. Androgen deprivation therapy still is the standard of care for our prostate cancers. Basically, it's an injection that is given every 3 months or 6 months, depending on the type of injection, but have a lot of impact on the men's health. Because basically we are blocking the production of testosterone, therefore multiple associated side effects. This ADT optimal pathway was created to try to tackle these side effects in advance rather than waiting for them to appear before trying to adjust the issues. So these patients work in collaboration with the family doctor to create a pathway including checking of the sugar, checking of the cholesterol, checking the blood pressure, everything about metabolic syndrome that may be impacted with this medication, and also bone health. So we are currently in audit reviewing the input from the physicians, from the urologists, and from the GPs to see how well we can improve this in the future, or if we need to adjust something about this. The other item that I wanted to mention is one we are proud as well that we keep in touch constantly pre-COVID, and most recently after COVID finished with our local services in the general practice. So more recently we have completed a good significant number of GPs could attend to a meeting done here in Gorbon Valley Health after hours, in which the GPs were invited, number one, to know the service here, to recognize, to put it a face to the name of the letters of our supported cancer nurses, the different service that we provide here, and even the area in which the patients are going to receive treatment. After that introduction, we managed to get a presentation also in Gorbon Valley Health regarding the optimal care pathway for lung cancer, to see how we can improve this pathway of referrals from the local practice, the GP, to us in order to assess these patients promptly and start the investigations accordingly. We work very close to St. Vincent's Hospital, especially the cardiothoracic team and respiratory team, which at the moment we do not have in Gorbon Valley Health, but maybe in the future. But that's the collaboration that we do with them, with St. Vincent Hospital, in order to basically achieve these optimal care pathways. We got telehealth respiratory clinics that these patients after the clinic in rapid access get referred, and they can access to all the services that any patient can get in Metro, including surgical procedures or investigations that need to be done.
Located in the Pedicopoulos Cancer and Wellness Centre, the GV Health Day Oncology Unit offers both inpatient and outpatient treatments for people affected by cancer. The unit comprises of 12 chairs and 2 beds. We have highly trained and experienced clinicians administer chemotherapy and targeted therapies with a visiting haematology service from St. Vincent's Hospital. We have a leading clinical trials unit, and specialist cancer care nurses are available to provide advice and information, help coordinate care, provide referrals and offer emotional support. Our unit also has a scalp cooling machine which can prevent hair loss caused by certain chemotherapy drugs. GV Health also provides a symptom and urgent review clinic, or CIRC for short, for oncology and haematology patients to assist in the management of side effects experienced by chemotherapy or immunotherapy treatments. CIRC provide advice, medical support and follow-up.
Hi, my name is Angela and I am an exercise physiologist at NCN Health. I coordinate and facilitate our cancer wellness and managing cancer programs. At NCN Health, we have been running our cancer wellness exercise program for almost 5 years, and specifically in the last 12 to 18 months, part of my role has been to recommence our cancer wellness program post-COVID-19 to help improve outcomes for patients living with cancer. For most people in our area, the nearest available program was a 30 to 60 minute drive, and participants found that they could not get what they wanted out of the program purely because the travel made it a very exhausting day for them by the time that they returned home. NCN Health introduced the Cancer Wellness Program in our early 2019 at the Numurkah campus. The program is generally targeted at people who had recently finished their cancer treatment. However, we have now made it accessible for people who are undergoing treatment to participate in an exercise program through our Managing Cancer program. Prior to going into our Cancer Wellness and Managing Cancer program, we assess our participants using screening tests from the fatigue scale and FACT-G score. We also complete exercise testing, including a 6-minute walk test, a 30-second sit-to-stand test, grip strength, balance testing, and any specific testing needed for an individual depending on what type of cancer they have had or currently being treated for. For example, participants who have undergone treatment for breast cancer, we complete range of motion testing and strength testing of the upper limbs to identify side effects of treatment. We do this assessment to help identify what the participant may be having concerns with, how we can best support them through their cancer journey, and to implement an exercise program specific to the participant's needs. Our cancer exercise program consists of a tailored exercise program to be completed as a one-on-one or in a group setting. At the end of each session, we do provide an education component which allows our participants to gain access and learn more about particular topics, including emotions and wellness, bone health, physical activity, nutrition, fatigue, and many more. These topics are run by health professionals specialising in the area and allows for in-depth conversations to be had between health professionals and the participants to help improve health outcomes of those involved. Throughout COVID, our exercise program was converted to an online platform where facilitators demonstrated exercises on video while the participants completed exercises in their own home. This impacted our ability to tailor the program to the individual's needs and goals. Our uptake of the program was significantly reduced in this time due to lack of social connection and variety in exercise. A fundamental part of the emotional component in our program is the social connections, and with this lacking, members of our groups discussed what we could do, and that's when we were able to form a cancer support group. A group of our previous cancer wellness members started to meet at cafes when able to throughout COVID, and now meet weekly for lunch and monthly run by NCN Health with guest speakers about valuable topics that may not be covered through our exercise program. These topics may include the services available, how to access services, when to have tests and reviews. Everyone who comes through our Wellness and Managing Cancer exercise program is informed about the support group, and this continues to build in numbers. I think this has been one of the best things we have established throughout COVID-19 in terms of our cancer programs. A positive experience that we have chosen to carry on from COVID is limiting the group numbers. This allows for meaningful conversations and connections to be made both with participants and facilitators. It allows participants to ask questions and get the thorough treatment that they deserve. Through both the exercise program and support group, we've been able to offer more support to the participants, both mentally and emotionally. This is something that a lot of our participants had struggled with whilst going through the lockdowns, and now enjoy and utilise when coming into centre to partake in the sessions. Another thing that we have been able to run again since returning to centre are our specialised education sessions, which help inform participants about their health and cancer journey and reiterate that they are not alone in their journey and can receive supports in various ways. The recommencement of our in-centre services has provided both the ability to tailor exercises and provide the much needed social aspect of support. Our group sessions continue to involve tailored exercises and important and valuable conversations to help each participant feel it's supported through their journey and work to improve overall health outcomes for patients living with cancer.
Hi, my name is Rachel O'Dwyer, and I am a registered nurse working for NCN Health Moira Palliative Care as a community palliative care nurse. Moira Palliative Care was established in May 2000. The service covers the Moira Shire, which includes Nathalia, Cobram, Numurkah, Yarrawonga and all the small communities in between. The service initially operated 6 days a fortnight with one nurse and administration support with a small number of clients. Over the past 23 years, the service has grown and now consists of a multidisciplinary team and a much larger number of clients. In the early days of the service, the staff and clients were supported by St Vincent's palliative care physicians by phone and had monthly education sessions, which offered each service the chance to present a complex case for review. As the need for palliative care increased, Goulburn Valley Health created a consultancy team who could offer face-to-face support for staff and clients across the Hume region. I have been working as community palliative care nurse for the past 3 years, and prior to this worked in a project role focusing on innovation and development in palliative care services. As part of the project, Moira Palliative Care had the opportunity to include allied health services, and we chose to employ a social worker and an occupational therapist 1 day a week. Moira Palliative Care has grown to include registered nurses each weekday, administration assistant 5 days a fortnight, social work and bereavement 2 days a week, occupational therapy 1 day a week, clinical nurse consultant visits weekly, palliative care physician from St Vincent who visits monthly, and more recently, a nurse practitioner who will assist clients with end-of-life care planning in their place of choice. Our team works collaboratively with the client's GP, who is the main coordinator of care, providing regular appointments to ensure scripts, follow-up with specialists and investigations such as pathology tests have been followed up. Dr Maziere attended a meet and greet with GPs from Quinn Street Clinic. He provided the GPs with clarification around how the multidisciplinary team can help provide advice for complex issues to achieve the best outcomes for clients. Our team also works very closely with the local district nursing services, who can contact us weekdays with any concerns for our shared clients. We also meet with each service fortnightly or monthly so the client receives consistency of care. Once a week we have a multidisciplinary team meeting where Moira Palliative Care present the new assessments for the week, any complex clients and bereaved clients. Ambulance Victoria have a community liaison officer who attends these meetings to keep the local services up to date with clients who may call the ambulance for symptom management, transfer to hospital, or who wish to die at home and the family require support from health professionals. More recently, due to staffing issues, we've moved into a collaborative space with GV Hospice Care. GV Hospice provided assistance with intake administration, assessments, visits, on-call for clients having end-of-life care at home, equipment provision and ongoing reviews. This has been an excellent opportunity to work in partnership with another service to provide care for the clients in our local area who may have otherwise been lost in the complex healthcare system. Having the ability to work with GV Hospice allows for more timely and responsive care for clients across the region. With the need of specialist palliative care support across the region increasing, the foundations have been laid of recent times to ensure that clients continue to receive gold standard care through the ongoing development of collaboration and partnership with the external service providers and the multidisciplinary team within Moira Palliative Care. Going forward, the plan is to invite the client being discussed and their GP to our weekly multidisciplinary meeting to truly offer an interdisciplinary service.
Good afternoon. I would like to take the opportunity to introduce myself. My name is Annie Williams and I'm the Director of Hume RICS. Thank you very much for your interest and attendance at our 2023 Annual Forum, which we will now move to conclude. I would like to sincerely thank all the presenters whom have shared their time, knowledge, experiences and resources with us today. I particularly wish to thank our consumers, Kathleen and Raja, whom we've met today in the forum, and all of our other consumers who are involved in many different ways to support the work of cancer service improvement across the Hume region. We are truly grateful for your commitment, enthusiasm and advocacy. I'm sure you would agree with me that we've heard about diverse programs in this forum which celebrate innovation, insight and service improvement in many different applications. I would like to acknowledge the contributions also from our 23 member organisations in collaborating, guiding and driving the Hume RICS to support initiatives improving patient outcomes and experience. I would also like to sincerely thank the members of the Hume RICS Governance Committee, our Chair Dr Mark Ashcroft, our Clinical Directors Associate Professor Craig Underhill and Dr Javier Torres, our host agency GV Health and Executive Director Andrew Freeman, and the Victorian Department of Health as our funding body and the team at Cancer Support, Treatment and Research. We appreciate your enormous and ongoing contributions to enabling and driving service improvement for our communities across the cancer sector. Hume RICS will today also be releasing our 2022-2023 annual report, which will be available on our website. I commend it as an interesting opportunity to see in more detail the programs and projects which Hume RICS has supported over the year. Finally, I'd like to celebrate and thank the members of the Hume RICS team, their skills and expertise, who are the most valuable asset that we bring to the work of service improvements, which are designed to improve the experience and outcomes for patients with cancer across our communities.